Hello and welcome to Comicstorian Weekly, the weekly show that we talk about comic books that came out this week. Today you will notice that it is just myself. Andy is out for personal reasons that I will keep off the air, but he is not here today, and so I'm going to be going through the comics that I read this week to let you know about them, and so let's go ahead and jump on in. First up, we have DC Love is a Battlefield #1. This is the classic DC yearly Valentine's special. We had some solid ones in here. We had some not as solid ones, as you usually get with these these kind of issues. It was kind of cool seeing them show that apparently Harley and Ivy stopped a reincarnation of Darkseid, the Mega Monitor, and Superboy Prime. So that was kind of interesting. But yeah, DC Love is a Battlefield wasn't bad. If you do enjoy those fun little Valentine stories that don't really matter, that are just fun stories, you'll enjoy it. You'll probably enjoy it. I say probably because, hey, you might find some that you're like, yeah, no. Like, what? No. What? No. What? No, okay. Anyway, on to the next one. Today, we are doing, as always, DC and then Marvel. Future State, Robin Eternal #2. So this was the one that is going with Tim Drake. Tim Drake got doused with Lazarus extract, I think is what it was called. Basically, it was part of the Lazarus pit. It brought him back to life, and he now has like super strength. I mean, that's kind of all that happens. It's just kind of him going, hey, look at me. I've got super strength now. I can't really die. Let's see what happens. Like, it wasn't really anything super special. Yeah. I mean, it was pretty good. If you like Tim Drake, he does have a little bit of a nightmare sequence where you kind of see him trying to figure out what's happening to him because of the Lazarus pit, or the Lazarus liquid. So yeah. Future State, Robin Eternal #2. Next up, we've got Future State Justice League #2. This was the one where the Justice League decided to keep their personal lives secret, and they got taken over by, I believe, the UFOs. Yeah. I mean, this one was actually pretty fun. We get to see some stuff with the Justice League talking to each other, trying to figure out kind of how they can recognize whether or not there are shapeshifters that are posing as them, or if it's actually people. It's not UFOs. Thank you guys in chat. It is the Hyper Clan. I don't know why I thought UFOs. I'm pretty sure they're in another story right now. But it was kind of fun. We learned that apparently this Batman hums to himself a little theme song. It was a fun issue. Nothing insane. Future State Green Lantern #2. It was a good story. The part at the beginning was not that great. It was the continuation of the Jon Stewart without powers. But then we did get a Teen Lantern story of her with Mogo during the time that the battery disappears. It was very actually good. I liked that one a lot. And then we also got a little backup story with Hal Jordan of him showing up like right as the battery gets destroyed, and Joe's like, hey, where you been? We kind of needed ya. Don't know why I said it like that. Next up, we've got Future State Superman Wonder Woman #2. This is the continuation of the Superman and Wonder Woman versus Solaris and the Sun God, and nothing too special. Nothing too special. It was just kind of a I was not the biggest fan of it. Future State Kara Zor-El Superwoman #2. In this one, we've got the conclusion to basically that weird shape-shifting girl that arrived at the planet. They solve it, and everything's happy ever after. Yeah, I mean, standard Supergirl story, very standard stuff with that one. Next up, we've got Future State Teen Titans number 2. This one kind of explains the Red X thing. It goes with the Deathwing instead of, Dick Stroke, but anything like that. And yeah, I mean, it was a pretty solid one. We kind of see a little bit of the connection with this and some of the other stories going on right now. This one, it kind of, in a way, explains where the Shazam story is, kind of is leading into that. But it was okay. I wasn't really as happy with it as I was kind of hoping. Future State Dark Detective number 3. This one is still pretty good. I'm enjoying it. We did have a little bit of old Batman and new Batman meeting up. I didn't get a fight. I wanted a fight. It was pretty sad. I was really bummed about that. But yeah, it's just continuation of Bruce Wayne, kind of how he started going through things. Him learning about these nano drones that are spying on everyone, essentially. And yeah, I mean, it was all right. Nothing crazy special. But I mean, that one was probably one of the better ones that came out this week in the Future State stories. Future State, I've not been really overly impressed with. But if you're interested more about my opinions on that, join in Saturday or later today on the stream here at twitch.tv/Comicstorian on Thursday when we do our comics experiment. We'll tell you more about Future State opinions of myself and Benny at that time. All right, into the Marvel Comics. We've got The Amazing Spider-Man number 59. This is the continuation of the Negative Space. Basically, this is about Martin Lee, who was negative, Mr. Negative. The Sin Eater removed all of the sins. It's going back to him. We're going to have a Mr. Negative story. That's all you really need to know. If you want more of the details, check it out. It was pretty good. I'm enjoying that one. I think it's solid. I've never been the biggest Mr. Negative fan, though, so I'm not sure how much it's going to keep me there. But yeah, I think it was pretty fun. Next up, we've got Eternals number 2. This one I'm actually enjoying a lot more than I thought I would. This is going into the Eternals, kind of more of who they are, how they act with each other. And in this one, it's how they're kind of dealing with Thanos. And yeah, I mean, actually, it was pretty good. I would suggest picking this one up if you're interested in the Eternals. I think it was quite fun. Next up, we've got Excalibur number 8. This is going into we've got Betsy back, but they aren't sure if it's actually Betsy. So the entire issue is kind of is it Betsy? Is it not? I don't know. That's probably the best way to describe this entire comic. I enjoyed it. I'm a big fan of Excalibur. I think it's probably one of the better X-Men stories going on right now. I suggest picking that one up. Next up on our list, King in Black, Black Panther number 1. This is showing what Black Panther and Wakanda are doing during this attack from Null. And that's all you really need to know. It's just how they handled it. It's classic tie-in, classic side story. I enjoyed it. I thought it was actually really good. Probably not going to matter too much, but I thought it was actually really solid. I enjoyed it a lot. Next up, we've got King in Black Thunderbolts number 2. This one was also fun. This is kind of the Marvel Suicide Squad, and they're just doing kind of Suicide Squad stuff. They're going through Ravencroft, I believe, because they had to get Norman, and then they kind of try and solve this stuff because they're trying to find a certain person and to use them in an interesting manner. I think you guys will enjoy that one if you have been enjoying Thunderbolts. It's a fun story. Like I said, it is Marvel's Suicide Squad. So Next up, we've got Morbius, Bond of Blood #1. Didn't like it. I don't suggest picking it up. It's his origin. I didn't like it. That's honestly all I really need to say about that one. Next up on our list is Sword #3. This one is kind of going a bit into, oh my goodness, what's the guy's name? What is the guy's name? I want to say it's Eden, but I know it's not. Yes, Eden Fessy, aka Manifold. It explains a little bit of his powers. It shows kind of what he's doing. Nothing really insane, but I still thought it was a pretty fun read. I think it was actually just a pretty fun read. I would suggest that one. Next up, we've got Star Wars Darth Vader #10. Continuation of the Darth Vader thing. Him with trying to figure out where to go with, I believe it's Exegol. I'm terrible with remembering words, as you guys have noticed. I enjoyed it. It's basically the same as what we've been getting, and it's fun seeing where it goes. I'm actually really curious as how this is going to keep going. But yeah, Star Wars Darth Vader #10. I recommend it. If you've been reading it, I definitely recommend it. Next up, we've got Taskmaster #3. This is the continuation of he has been framed for killing Maria Hill. And last time he got the crap beat out of him by Hyperion. They explained that they got him back because Nick Fury was able to get certain materials and supplies to help heal him up. I mean, it's fun. It's a fun story. It's cool seeing Taskmaster in this way. There was some really funny parts where he's having a fight and he doesn't know the name of the moves that he's doing. So at like one part he goes, "That kick I saw Iron Fist do one time." I enjoyed that one. That one's actually been really fun. I do recommend Taskmaster. Next up, we've got Wolverine, Black, White, and Blood #3. This is his black and white with red story. There's just a couple different stories in it. It's fun if you like Wolverine stuff, but it doesn't seem to be anything that is required in any sense. And then last for this week, yes, it turned out to be a very quick show. Don't you guys worry about that. I got you. It happens when I don't have another person to talk to. But the last one this week is X-Force #17, and this is going into Quentin Quire, aka Kid Omega, and kind of how he's dealing with everything, how he's dealing with constantly dying, the fact that he doesn't remember how, he's got different, it's kind of a Quentin Quire trying to figure out his place in this new world. And I thought it was kind of fun. I thought it was actually really interesting. I've never read too much about the guy, so it was interesting seeing where it went and kind of what they wanted to do with that. But yes, guys, that is the end of today's short episode of Comicstorian Weekly. I hope you all had a great time. I hope you did not mind that it was just myself and that I kind of blitzed through these. But hey, I mean, when you don't have someone to talk to, it is harder to go too much into things. Plus, I forget some stuff like names. But thank you guys so much for watching this Patreon and Twitch podcast. You can support this by going to Patreon, patreon.com/comicstorian. $2 access to all of our great content. Twitch, you can support us over there at twitch.tv/comicstorian. We record this live every Thursday at roughly 2 p.m. Eastern. And then we do our Comics Experiment and D&D Absolute Comics over there at 5 p.m. Eastern on Tuesdays. Thank you guys so much once again. And we'll see you next week. Bye, guys.